I do it when, there's a chance that we'll rally back. And so I monitor it. I'll pull it up and I'll look at wait until it breaks some resistance and say, okay, I'll take my profits now. So I use a consciousness, I call it, many people probably call it a trailing stop consciousness. I don't have a trailing stop in because I don't like to use stops with options, but I use trailing stop consciousness and say, okay, it's time to do something. So this is just a picture of what I was doing with a 1-minute chart with Diamonetrics. Okay, so now we're at 493. And this is at the day after the flash crash. You could see that Google, I'll make this bigger. Google got down there. It touched, near 460. Okay. And the next day, we're at what Diamonetrics on this 1-year chart says, wow, we've hit the next wick zone. Let's not fool around. Let's take some profits. We got a nice profit in here. So on this day, we made an adjustment. All right, so what did we do? Well, and this is a 2-year tilted Diamonetric grid. It also said we're at support. We dipped into this. By the way, sometimes the candle wicks will go outside, and that could be a fake out as opposed to a breakout, especially if it's only one string, one wick that got out. And on the flash crash, it did. One. So it was a fake out, not a breakout. So let me reduce the size here. I just want to check my timing here. Okay, we're good. All right, so so I'm looking at this adjustment. I'm experimenting. This is the trade analysis page, and it's doing a what if. So here I have the original position. I'll make this bigger. Back to bigger, bigger, smaller, bigger, smaller. Make up your mind, guy. Come on. All right. I'm seeing everything I need to see. All right, we're trading at 491.93. The option chain is above. I've covered it with this little note here, this little thing I pasted over a text box. You can see in this forest green background, the short 30-lot 550, 560 call spread. The calls are in the top line, the puts are in the bottom line. And I'm thinking of making this adjustment, which is in the next two with the beige background. I'll just slide it over here. It's called Simulated Adjustment 1 and Simulated Adjustment 2. You can put them all in one line. You can put as many contracts as you want here, but it's nice because you get a graphic below that I'll scroll to in a minute. But what I'm doing is I'm not buying back my short call spread. I'm saying, that call spread is going for, here's the price up here, $1.05. The 550, 560 down to $1.05, right? And I'm saying, what is the 510, 520? Something closer. Well, it's a lot more money. It's almost $3. But I could buy a third as many for about the same amount of money. Because it's, it's just under $3. So if I buy 10 of those for $3, that will babysit my 30 lot, making sort of like a broken wing out of that. So let's read what I say here. What would I be giving up? What I would be giving up is profit potential to the downside. Okay, so down below I'm harvesting some of these baby butterflies. You could see a 10 by 30 by 20 skip strike fly, or what some people used to call a buttafuoco, a 10 by 30 by 20. I'm going to sell off on the downside. I'm going to show you how that impacts my inventory of baby butterflies. And why am I doing it? It's proceeds to pay for, because look at the money I'm getting for that. I'm getting about $2,300 for that. That's what it's over here. It's putting the money here. And I'm spending $2,900 by buying this call spread. So $600. Oh, and by the way, I failed to mention that even though I put this on for even money, it did not mean that I didn't have any risk. That 30 lot can go in the money, 10 bucks a piece, $30,000. So when I calculate my rate of return, I'm using the margin or the buying power reduction or the absolute amount that I could lose. 30,000 is my investment. Okay, so I'm reducing my risk now by $10,000 potentially on the upside because I'm buying $10,000 worth of verticals potentially if it all goes bad. If we have a reverse crash and Google's trading at 800 tomorrow, I'm going to get snuffed for the maximum of 20 now. So now my total capital tied up is this extra 600 bucks or so that I'm spending today on this adjustment plus, but I'm reducing my capital required in the way of margin from 30,000 down to 20,000, right? So you call it protect, take profit. I'm also broken winging the 30 short, 550, 560 call verticals. All right. So now I got this whole, wow, oh my God, look at this position, my raw position. It looks very confusing. How do you keep track of this, Charles? It would be nearly impossible to keep track of it unless you were dissecting it. And this is going to be beautiful. All right, so here's the concept before the trade, what I'm giving up, okay? So here's it graphically. All right, so what are we looking at? Oh my God, look at all those lines. Who can see that stuff? Okay, let's go through it slowly. All right, the green one is the original trade. If you can follow it, it looks like a butterfly over here with the center of 490 with a short vertical here, 550 to 560, and that's what's going below the line to the tune of that 30 grand, right? Easy enough. All right, what's the next thing you're doing? Okay, well, the P&L of the first adjustment is in this color here, this sort of magenta one. It's buying this bull spread in here, the 510, 520. All right. I also got the aged stuff going on, so you can see the curved lines. And the second adjustment is selling is in red here, or this lighter color. The total adjustments in red. The total adjustments in red with these little blue dots at each strike price. That's the total. That's buying back the call spread and selling off the baby butterflies all in one. It's merging the two. So you have that flexibility with two lines here for your what ifs. Okay? So we got a lot of money. We've up $9,000. Why don't you just take it off? Somebody might say. Well, I'm still targeting 490. That's why I'm in. If I wasn't in, if I was out, I would get in here. So that's what's got to be your reasoning, or at least it's my reasoning. If you wouldn't put it on here, take it off, and if you would put it on, leave it on. All right, so what's happening now? So this is after trade 4. I'm doing the dissection now. Notice down here, this is page 16. Notice down here in my butterfly dissection, I've done it a little bit differently just to show the flexibility of the software. You notice now, by the way, up here the prices of the butterflies. Notice that the ones I sold off, the 460 and the 470, are going for 72 and 80 cents. Remember they were like 22 and 30 cents or so? So they've like almost, one's more than tripled and one's almost tripled in price. So I'm using that, I'm harnessing that, I'm harvesting that value, that tripling of that money, and I'm protecting this 30 lot that's dwindled from $3 down to about $1. All right? And what am I left with now? I'm still left with something that's really going to make a lot of money if we go to 490. Why? Because there's 40 baby butterflies there. Look at the inventory. So I broke it up now into use different lines.